Hello, this is Brian again. This is going to be a little bit shorter of a clip, but still following the fire break. I didn't go down by the switchback. I've been following the ridge line. Actually, this has been pretty nice, to be honest with you. It's been very nice and gradual, except for a couple of steep areas, of course. It's actually been quite pleasant, to be honest with you. A little slightly more adventurous way to do this hike. It's quite peaceful, there's nobody around. There's a fire road, all winding around. Hopefully I'll be back on that fairly soon, but just got another hill to climb here, which looks like a pretty small one from this angle. Yeah, it's a very followable pathway up here, and I've seen footsteps on the ground too. So I'm not the only person trying to flare up the adventure a little bit. Honestly, without the curvatures of the switchbacks down there, this is likely to take off some mileage from my hike. This will actually take off a little bit. I don't know how much exactly, but this is going to take off a little bit. It's actually really peaceful up here. You see some surviving stands of big cone Douglas fir down there. Survived the station fire. Yeah. A lot of trees that were on this side were completely eradicated. I mean, likely this area was probably mostly chaparral before it, because I never hiked in this area before the station fire. Even when I was growing up as a kid, never really went to the San Gabriel Mountains. My uncle would take me to his place in the San Bernardino Mountains. That's the place mountain range I normally went to. Never went to the Santa Anas as a kid, like Santiago, none of those. Never been to the San Gabriels. Went to the San Jacintos once with friends of the family. But when I was a kid, 90s and early 2000s, and in early 20s or the early 2000s, I never really ventured out much. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a license at the time. It took me moving to New Jersey to get a driver's license, because where I live, things are a little more spread out. You can't really rely on public transportation unless you want to leave your house 3 hours early. I didn't live in the city centers like Newark or Elizabeth, where it's a lot more populated. I lived not quite in the country, but like suburbs / almost country out by Lake Hopatcong. So to get where you wanted to go, best bet is to have a car. And then moved back out here since the end of 2014. It took me a couple years, took me almost 2 years, but at the end of 2014, I moved back in January 2013. So at the end of 2014, I did my first hike into San Gabriel's, and that was partial hike of the Burkhardt Trail from Devil's Punch Bowl. Went down to Crothers Creek, and then hiked back to Devil's Punch Bowl County Park. That was the hike I did. It was first hike into San Gabriel's. And ever since then, it's been a love affair with these mountains. So we're almost at the top of this little mound here. Looks like it might get a little rougher up here. Let's see. A lot of miniature yuccas. mini Paris golden bushes, mini chaparral whitethorns, little buckwheats. You can see there's the fire road. There's point 5400 right up there. Looks a lot more prominent from this side, doesn't it? It's a lot steeper and a lot more prominence on this side. The back side is maybe about 60 to 110 feet. Over here, you'd have a nice little climb, which was actually the original plan, was to go up this way. Alright. Move this yucca stalk out the way. Whew. Sure looks pointy from here. You get a good view of that peak, point 5400. You get a good view of it at the base and along various portions of the hike. Looks a lot more formidable on this side. But I came down from there, and actually going down is usually the trickier ways to do it, to go down instead of going up. So I went down that, very kind of steep in spots, but I made it okay. And we got a witness post over here. There's a witness post. See these scattered through. It's like with the old mapping surveys from back in the days. Actually, watch a hiking guy's video. He did a video on that a couple months ago about what those are. You learn quite a bit. I thought they were just random things that hikers put on the top of summits to say, hey, here's the peak, but it's not a peak here. So those witness posts, they like help map and survey the areas. All right, now this is where things are going to get a little icky, I think. I got to find my way back down to the road, and it looks like I might have to do some scrambling. It's kind of a little concerned about this. But there's the saddle. That's where I'm going to be leaving to break down on the fire road, bust down the hill. Okay, I'm actually a little concerned because it looks very steep, very rocky. So it might potentially get a little technical. Well, I need to practice anyways, but this is the downhill part. This is the part that I dread usually when it comes to scrambling. But I could use a little practice anyways. So let's see how this is going to work. If I have to do it, I have to do it. Because I really don't have the energy to hoof it back over 5400 and go all the way to Josephine, the last portion before Josephine Peak again. That would be a little bit of a mission. But let's see. We'll see how this goes. Yes. This is where the real test begins, I guess. There, right there. That's point 4520. There's 4355. And there's that peak I was thinking about. Might just barely be 4,000 feet. I don't know. Like I said, if I have enough energy, I might make a run at that on the way back, perhaps. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out. Right now, I just need to focus on down climbing this without getting into serious drama, if you know what I mean. looks like it's about to get technical over here. If it does, I'm gonna have to turn the film off for a while because I'm gonna need to focus on down climbing this. Thinking this could get into class 3 territory over here. It just looks very steep. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Looks sketchy as heck. Well, maybe not. It's just going to be very steep. And then I got another rock pile over there that's going to potentially be a concern. So I'm just going to need to down climb this very carefully. Tell you one thing though, this little extra stretch here sure made for a great adventure. I mean, gotta look at the positive. Gotta look at the positives here. I mean, I didn't know how much of this fire break I was actually planning on taking. I was going to take maybe portions of it to get to 5,400, but I ended up making like a whole mini adventure set coming down from Josephine Peak. Okay, this is where it's going to get very sketchy. Right now it's just dirt and some rock. It's just going to be very steep class 1 descent, I guess. Might have to walk near the bushes where the bushes can hold the soil into place a little better. Might see if I can do that. Go down by the shrubs instead. One thing I notice is I do straddle my stride. I'll switch from one side to another while I'm going down this sketchy stuff. It's very sketchy here. Extremely sketchy. Sketchyville. So basically, when you're coming down to an extremely steep descent like this, one thing you're going to want to do, one very important thing, is take your time. Probably should have had trekking poles for this, but I didn't really need trekking poles, to be honest with you. Especially on the fire road, you're just walking up a gentle fire road. But for something like this, you might want to have them handy if you're planning on down climbing the fire break over here. So now, basically what I got to do here is break this down into baby steps. Just take small steps at a time. This lasts, what is this, maybe 150 to 150 feet or so down to the base. It's going to be quite a doozy. So I'm just going to kind of walk sideways, kind of sidewalk surf it, I guess. What do you want to call this? Oh yeah, this is very slick. Oh boy. Trekking poles would definitely be good for this. Yeah, this is a sketchy spot right here, folks. Kind of like some of the slopes I did on the Peak 4459 hike I did 2 weeks ago. There's some slopes that are like this, but that little stretch there, where you hear all the rocks tumbling down. I just did. Went down quite a further. Actually, the whole time I hiked the last time, I had slopes that were steep like this, but I didn't eat dirt like I just did now. Oh well. Alright. So I know I'm looking at the trail and the fire road from here, and it still looks insane from here. So my work is not done. Oh boy. So remember, when I got to the saddle, I didn't really see a clear-cut way to climb up this. Oh boy. Let's see. This is where it could get a little... This could be where it gets a little yucky over here. Maybe not. Let me see. Oh, I think I can wing it. Yeah, I think I can wing it from here. Just follow the ridge down the rest of the way. Oh boy. Now we're about to hit a little class 2 scramble right here. There we go. I'm surprised I didn't scrape anything. Nothing's bleeding. Wow, I was surprised. Alright. Wow. I think I might be taking a break at that saddle. Let's see. You can see a little bit of a footpath scuffed into here. So if I can just follow this, I should be able to return without too much more issue, I hope. That was a pretty cool ridge traverse, actually. So let's see. Alright, now it's time to figure out which way to go. Let's see which way I gotta go. It's gonna get really sketchy again. One last bit, it looks like. I'm gonna have to do some... Ooh, yeah, this is gonna get really icky over here. I was a little worried that this last part was gonna be like this. Oh boy. I was a little worried about this, honestly. This last bit right here does not look too pleasing.